We're gonna do a little street traveling here for a minute. I feel so vulnerable out here. Anyway, these are the pads we're using. Little mission today. I thought this was kind of cool. You know, I don't have a rack, obviously, on the back here, so I needed to do a couple errands here today. So I decided to tie these boxes up to my bag. I don't have a printer, so I'm gonna go down to the Scranton Public Library, mess with the printer, and print these out. These labels, one goes to USPS, one goes to UPS. So I thought just a little adventure or mission trip today. I'm gonna do a small ride, nothing crazy. I got the bike charging. I normally don't keep my bike in the kitchen too often, but actually, well, maybe I'm lying. In the summertime, I pretty much keep it in here all the time. I live alone, so it's not a big deal. Nobody's bothering me about it being in here. And then I roll it. My other room is real tight to get in, so anyway, yeah, so I just did a charge for a few hours, and we're gonna run on this mission. I'm ordering tires today, 100%. After we know, and we'll talk about this, tire safety, we'll mention that on the ride. And gonna do my brakes when I get back. After riding last night, I realized I just need to keep up with the maintenance a little bit more. I'm not too bad, but just a little bit more. So let's hope this holds here. And I'm gonna set up the GoPro. We're gonna head out, and I'll see you on the road. All right. Oh yeah, I wanted to chat about bike safety. I was driving, I went about almost 10 miles to a friend's house last night, and some of it's through some wooded area, country. It wouldn't be the end of the world if I broke down. But as I was riding home, I looked at my tires, and like my one tire is like flat, or bald, not flat. My one tire is bald, back tire is old. I ride this thing all the time, and I'm slacking on getting tires, and it's, you know, I used to do it with my car sometimes too. I'm not saying I'll never do it again, but it was, you know, a momentary, I guess, if you will, wake-up call. I don't want to become complacent with parts that are subpar or broken or wearing out, you know. Oh. Okay. I just have to figure out where to lock my bike up down here. That I don't know yet. Alright guys, I'm gonna lock this thing up in a moment here, and then we'll see you in a minute. Alright everybody, we got mission 1 accomplished. Got the shipping labels. Next is USPS. The one nice thing about this, my next stop is the biggest box. So we could eliminate this setup I have going on here in the back. So you would all be probably a little disappointed on how I locked my bike up. I didn't even have it like locked to a fence. I basically had this, it's an industrial cord. Like, it is a very, very strong cable. I don't know how well it can be chopped through or not. It's not like an average bike cable. It's, this is kind of boring, but I used to work for an auction company. Sometimes we would sell off, like, well, I would help sell, you know, like if a restaurant went out of business, construction business, something, any kind of business, we would help get rid of a lot of the stuff. Anyways, this construction business was selling all their stuff, and it was a really like industrial cable that I got. So all I really did was put the cable through my back wheel in the frame so the bike couldn't be rolled away. I guess it could have been picked up and taken away, but I don't trust this guy. I don't know what's going on here. Alright guys, we're at the post office now, and talk to you in just a minute here. Okay, so the plan was slightly altered. It is Columbus Day, apparently. I'm out of the loop. And it being Columbus Day, the USPS is closed, which is the biggest package I have, which I wanted to get rid of. We're gonna do a little street traveling here for a minute. I feel so vulnerable out here. That's one thing I don't get complacent with, is riding deep in traffic like this. I just feel like a sitting duck. UPS looks open. All right, see you guys in a minute. All right, y'all, we just left the UPS store. So now I'm down to one package, the big one. I figured I didn't, you know, if I was able to do the USPS one, I probably would have waited on this one, but I wanted to get one package out at least. So yeah, today is Columbus Day, I didn't know. So now, what is the plan here? You know what, I think I'm gonna head back to the house, probably grab a coffee, and then I think from there we will we'll mess with the brakes. Because if I'm out riding all day, I'm probably not gonna wanna mess with my brakes. So I'll do a shorter ride, keep the motivation up, grab a coffee, and then we'll mess with the brakes and stuff and go from there. So just do a little riding on the way back home and do a little bike maintenance. Whoa. You know, the last few weeks my horn was acting up. It just sounded like it was kind of dying out. Like the whatever circuitry was just kind of dying, and it wasn't making a solid horn sound. And then maybe a couple of days ago I noticed one of the horn wires actually completely broke off. So I just wrapped the horn wire back up. I didn't solder or anything. I just kind of wrapped it around the little connector there. It's not like this crazy vital part of the bike that has to be soldered or anything. But yeah, horn's working again. You know, you have a lot of those little problems when you have bikes for a while. You know, I think I'm almost at 4,700 miles on this. That's kind of crazy. Kitty. All right, guys, we are finally going to do a brake change here. Got some Shimano brake pads. We have a cat visitor, neighbor's cat. Get that carpet. Anyway, these are the pads we're using. $12, local bike shop. So what we're gonna do first, we're going to remove the caliper, and then the guy at the bike shop recommended slightly sanding these down. Since my brakes are ridiculously loud right now, I don't feel like it really matters. They can't get any worse. So I figured, you know, I'll sand it. It stays the same, it stays the same. If it happens to get better, you know, it gets a little better. So first things first, we'll remove this. Kind of go step by step here a little bit. Actually, what I like to do, this is the retaining nut here for the pads. I like to crack that loose just a little bit. Then I remove these, and then that's easier to come out. So this little tiny bolt is a 2.5 millimeter. Alright, so that's cracked loose. Use the 5 millimeter. Now, since we're going to be working on the rotor, I don't want this in my way. So this will stay out of the way when I'm working on it. I think I'm going to use a little bit of water, slightly sand around, clean it off with alcohol, put the new pads on, and go from there. I'm gonna do some circles, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna do the same over here. Take the caliper off, sand the rotor down a little bit. Then we'll change the brake pads. Then we'll go for a little test drive and we'll see if we're still squeaking. All right, the repair continues. Same thing, we're gonna remove that, or loosen this little bolt up here. Take this guy off. Keep this out of the way. Sanded both of the rotors down just a little bit there. I'm gonna clean them off really well with this isopropyl. Show you I put the brakes on. Got them still over there. I didn't change the pad yet. We'll do that after we clean the rotors. And then we'll button this up. All right, next phase. I normally wouldn't be holding the pliers or the tools in this weird way, but I don't want to block the camera, so it's a little more challenging. This holds the pads in place. So once you do that, you can see the pads here. Push them out. These pads are actually pretty decent still. They're old pads, but I don't know, just really loud, so we'll see. Hopefully these new pads and the way I clean everything up will be nice. I try not to touch this surface as best I could. So normally pads come with these, but they didn't come with them, so we're gonna use these older ones. So then after you put that metal clip back in, it's kind of like this here. This clip. And the pad fits right in it. Springy sandwich thing. Now normally what you're supposed to do is spread these, the calipers, this apart. Mine are pretty spread apart already, so I'm not going to bother. But sometimes you have to spread these apart. I usually use like the back end of a wrench or something and just kind of spread those little metal cylinders apart there. So I'm putting the pads in. Push them in. You can see they pop up here. Holes line up. And you just put this screw back in. Give that a little snug, not too tight. The pads are in place. Then you slide that on, like so. I'm just gonna like slightly hand tighten these for now. We have to adjust these, so I'm gonna leave these calipers. I'm gonna leave these loose for now. We'll change the brakes on the front one, and we'll adjust, and then we'll go for a ride. It's crazy, these pads are fairly new. They're just so loud, I'm like forced to try something else. You can see these aren't too bad. So we're going to reuse this clip. We're going to spread these out a little bit. Okay, it made room for the new pads. Pad goes in. So now what we do, while those calipers are loose, squeeze the brake, and while I'm squeezing the brake, I continue to hold on. Still holding on the brake. Once I feel happy with how tight these are, which I am, I let go of the brake. And we're gonna do the same for the back. So right now I'm holding in the brake. Still holding the brake. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're just going to take this for a little ride, and we'll go from there. See you out on the street. All right, so now we just put the brakes on. We're gonna do a couple, we're just gonna go and slow down. We're gonna do that about 10 times, then we'll adjust the pads. Again, my back ones are quiet, my front ones are loud. Well, we'll see after we adjust. It's definitely a little quieter than it was before. Oh. far so good. I don't know if this is gonna last, so I don't want to get excited, but it's the quietest my brakes have been. Alright, so my front one's still fudged. But at least I only have one left. When it's two brakes, it sucks. I can make it work with one non-squeaky brake. Oh my god, the color's up here. Well, I tell you, when you're in the 80 to 90% or 80 to 100% battery range, that first 20%, maybe 20 to 30%, it really has such good pickup and torque. Really tell. Wow, look at these colors. Let's go deep in here so we can see all these colors. Wow. My loud brake ruining the moment here? I feel like it is.